Imagine a normal evening. You're reading a story to your grandchild. Your voice is steady. Your grandchild is giggling. And the two of you are enjoying a peaceful moment together. But just a few seconds later, the storytelling stops. You try to speak, but no sound comes out. Your right arm feels heavy, and you lose control. Your grandchild looks up frightened, and you can't call for help. I know it sounds terrifying, but in over 20 years of treating brain disorders in older adults, I've witnessed that scene more often than you might think. And what's even more heartbreaking is that they weren't careless about their health. These were people who lived healthy lives, drank enough water, ate plenty of vegetables and fruits every day. They avoided roads, alcohol, and fried foods, but still had strokes in their sleep. No warning signs. Why? It's not because they did something wrong. It's because after 60, the body no longer reacts like it used to when we were younger. What was once good could now be harmful if consumed at the wrong time, mixed with the wrong medication, or if you don't recognize the subtle signs from your body. Did you know that a seemingly healthy banana could dangerously drop your blood pressure at night? A 100% natural glass of juice could cause your brain's blood vessels to expand too much in the early morning. A few slices of watermelon could leave you dehydrated and off balance without even knowing it. The problem isn't the food itself, it's that no one ever told you aging requires a different way of eating, a different way of living. In today's video, I'll show you 5 fruits that seem harmless, but could silently increase the risk of stroke while you sleep. And more importantly, I'll teach you how to eat in a way that helps you stay healthy, stay active without fear. If you're ready, let's start with the first one, the fruit that's called heart's friend, but could be the enemy of your brain if used at the wrong time. If you ask 10 seniors which fruit is safest for heart health, 8 of them will likely say bananas. It's no surprise bananas are soft, easy to digest, high in potassium, and are often recommended for preventing muscle cramps and stabilizing blood pressure. And truly, banana is a smart choice in many cases, but only when used correctly and at the right time. There's one patient I can never forget, Mr. Leonard Hayes, 74 years old, a retired mechanic from Michigan. Every evening after dinner with his wife, Mr. Leonard had a habit he believed was good for his heart. He would brew a hot cup of tea and then eat 2 ripe bananas. I read that bananas help lower blood pressure and prevent muscle cramps, he said. Not wrong. But what he didn't know was that after the age of 70, his body no longer processed potassium as efficiently, and he was also taking an antihypertensive drug called lisinopril, a drug that tends to retain potassium in the bloodstream. One morning, his wife entered the room and found him lying next to the bed, his right arm limp, his mouth mumbling indistinctly. A stroke during sleep. No warning, no symptoms beforehand. Test results: alarmingly low blood pressure throughout the night, severe electrolyte imbalance, mainly due to excessive potassium buildup in the blood. His body couldn't maintain stable blood pressure. While he slept, blood flow to the brain slowed, and just a few minutes of oxygen deprivation was enough to cause permanent brain damage. The consequence? Mr. Leonard survived, but lost his ability to speak fluently, had to use a walker, and could no longer drive himself. I'm not sharing this story to scare you about bananas. Bananas aren't to blame. What makes it dangerous is the timing and the combination with medications that many people aren't warned about. After 60, the kidneys work slower, and potassium filtration becomes less effective. At night, the body naturally becomes dehydrated through breathing, especially when taking diuretics or sleeping in air-conditioned rooms. When you eat a lot of potassium at that time, blood pressure can drop suddenly during sleep, leading to a lack of oxygen to the brain without your knowledge. The scary part is, bananas don't cause stomach pain or dizziness immediately. You only notice the consequences the next morning. Dizziness, weakness in the limbs, forgetting what you were about to do. Or worse, inability to speak, unable to stand. So, if you're on blood pressure medication, diuretics, or have kidney problems, take another look at when you eat bananas. Half a banana in the morning with a main meal is much safer. Avoid eating bananas in the evening, especially after 8 p.m. or just before bedtime. And absolutely avoid combining bananas with antihypertensive drugs at night without asking your doctor. Another thing few people mention: the riper the banana, the more simple sugars and potassium it contains, easier to absorb, causing quicker reactions in the bloodstream. I still recommend bananas to my patients, but with a gentle reminder. Bananas aren't bad, but your body now isn't what it used to be, and the brain doesn't get a second chance if it lacks oxygen for too long. If you ever thought a banana couldn't harm me, now is the time to reconsider. A banana at the wrong time could not only disrupt your sleep, but also take away your ability to speak, remember, and move freely. So, before you grab that banana every evening, think of Mr. Leonard. And ask yourself, what does my body really need right now? If you're trying to eat healthily, it's likely that you've chosen pineapple or pineapple juice as part of your journey. Pineapple is said to improve digestion, reduce inflammation, and boost immunity. And it's true, pineapple contains a special enzyme called bromelain, which has natural anti-inflammatory properties. But like everything in medicine, dosage and context are everything. What few people notice is bromelain is also a mild blood thinner. And when it combines with a morning dose of aspirin or a small Plavix tablet, it can make the tiniest capillaries in your brain more fragile than ever. I distinctly remember one morning, Mrs. Helen, 81 years old, a retired elementary school teacher, came into my office with her son. She complained of severe headaches, dizziness, and nausea. Her son thought it might be a summer flu, but the CT scan results changed everything. A small, blurry but clear spot, a mild brain hemorrhage in a deep region. No trauma. No high blood pressure. No recent changes in medication. Just one new thing. Mrs. Helen had started drinking fresh pineapple juice every morning after reading that it helps with inflammation and memory improvement. When we reviewed her blood tests, one thing stood out. Her blood clotting levels were lower than normal. The combination of drinking pineapple juice every morning plus her daily aspirin dose made her blood too thin to protect her brain from the weak capillaries. She survived, but the consequences were long-lasting. She lost her balance, couldn't bathe without assistance, and perhaps most heartbreakingly was the look in her eyes when she said, "I wish someone had told me that one glass of pineapple juice could cause brain bleeding." This isn't a story to make you fear pineapple, but it's to help you realize fruits don't come with warnings. There's no label on a pineapple that says, "Do not consume if you're on blood thinners." If you're taking any medication that affects blood clotting, including low-dose aspirin, Plavix, warfarin, or even vitamin E supplements, then pineapple, especially fresh pineapple juice, should be consumed with caution. A small piece in a salad with a main meal might be fine, but a glass of pure juice in the morning on an empty stomach right after taking your medication is a whole different story. Especially after 65, the brain is more fragile, and the capillaries are more vulnerable than ever. Just one small rupture could lead to dizziness, confusion, or loss of movement. I always remind my patients, it's not that blood thinners are bad, but if you're already taking medication to do that, let food play a different role. If you love pineapple, you don't need to cut it out entirely. But eat it during the day, with a main meal. Limit concentrated juices, especially drinking them on their own. And if you're on medication, ask your doctor about possible interactions. Mrs. Helen once said something very simple, but it stuck with me. I don't need anyone to forbid me from eating pineapple. I just wish someone had said, don't eat it every morning when I'm on medication. That's why I'm sharing this with you today. Not to make you stop eating it, but to eat it with awareness. Because a pineapple won't hurt anyone unless it's in the wrong place, at the wrong time, in a body that needs more caution. If you've ever passed on a cookie to grab a few grapes, I understand. It seems like the right choice. Grapes are small, easy to eat, no peeling required, and are labeled as rich in antioxidants. And honestly, I used to believe the same. Until I met Mr. Harold. Mr. Harold, 76 years old, a retired postal worker, skinny, cheerful, always trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle after retirement. He came to see me because he occasionally felt dizzy, unbalanced, and had moments of forgetfulness, though not constant, just fleeting every morning. At first he thought it was probably due to insomnia, or just old age. But when we did an MRI of his brain, we found signs of multiple small strokes, also known as microinfarcts. They were tiny, almost asymptomatic, but over time they accumulated, silently eroding his memory and thinking ability. So what caused this? We reviewed his medications, blood pressure, sleep patterns, all was fine. Then I asked, "What do you typically eat in the evening?" He smiled. "I stopped with the sweets. Now I sit and watch TV with a bowl of grapes, easy to eat, and better than sugar." But that was the problem. Grapes, especially seedless, sweet ones contain a high amount of natural fructose. When eaten alone in the evening without fiber, protein, or fat to slow the absorption, this sugar is absorbed very quickly. Blood sugar spikes then drops when insulin reacts. For younger people, the body adjusts well. But for those over 60, this fluctuation can cause blood pressure to fluctuate too, leading to inflammation in the brain's blood vessels. And that's the ideal environment for silent strokes to form. Add the fact that Mr. Harold was in the pre-diabetic stage and also taking blood pressure medication. His evening bowl of grapes, though not as sweet as cookies, became a little storm, disrupting his brain while he slept. Today, he can no longer live on his own. His family had to hire part-time help. His short-term memory has declined. He sometimes forgets his grandchild's name, forgets why he's standing in the kitchen. The most heartbreaking moment was when he told me, "I really thought I was doing the right thing." And he's not the only one. Many older adults are using fruit as a replacement for sweets, but they're eating it at the wrong time, in the wrong way. It's not because they lack willpower. It's because they don't know that fruits also need to be consumed mindfully. If you're eating grapes in the evening, try switching things up. Eat grapes during the day, after a main meal, when there's protein and fat to accompany it, slowing down sugar absorption. Limit overly sweet or seedless varieties. Don't use grapes as a light dinner replacement, because you'll consume all sugar with no balance to counter it. I never say, stop eating fruit. But I always say, natural sugar is still sugar, and your brain doesn't distinguish between sugar from cookies and sugar from grapes when it's deprived of oxygen. We don't need to fear fruit. We just need to remember, fruit is also a kind of medicine, and all medicines need the right dosage and timing. On hot summer days, nothing is more refreshing and easy to enjoy than a bowl of cold watermelon. Older adults especially love this fruit, soft, mildly sweet, requires little chewing, and contains more than 90% water. Many see watermelon as a heart-healthy treat, especially after dinner. And I understand. Low-calorie, high-water fruits, there doesn't seem to be much to worry about. That is, until you meet a patient like Mrs. Lillian. Mrs. Lillian, 79 years old, lives with her daughter and 3 young grandchildren. Every evening, after cleaning the kitchen, she had a habit that everyone thought was healthy. A bowl of cold watermelon, eaten quietly, before turning off the lights and going to bed. It was her end-of-day reward, and she believed it helped her feel cool and light. She was also taking beta blockers and a mild diuretic for heart failure. All her health markers had been normal recently. Until one morning in July, she woke up unable to stand. Her legs were shaking, her head dizzy, and within minutes, she could no longer speak clearly. At the hospital, we discovered she had just experienced a silent ischemic stroke during the night while she was sleeping. So what was the cause? Watermelon seemingly harmless, but it's a powerful vasodilator due to an ingredient called citrulline. In a younger body, this helps improve circulation. But in older adults, especially those on blood pressure medication or diuretics, it can cause blood pressure to drop too low during sleep. Add the large water content of watermelon, more frequent nighttime urination, mild dehydration, but enough to thicken the blood and slow circulation. And the worst part is, there were no warnings, no headache, no chest pain. Nothing except the feeling of, I'm still doing something good. Mrs. Lillian's story made me wonder, how many people are eating watermelon at night as a self-care gesture without realizing their brain is silently lacking oxygen? I'm not saying you should stop eating watermelon. I just want you to reconsider when you're eating it. Watermelon, though refreshing, still needs to be eaten correctly. It's best to eat it during the day, before 6 to 7 p.m. Don't eat it when you're completely hungry, or after taking diuretics or nighttime blood pressure medications. If you've ever woken up feeling dizzy or off balance, that bowl of watermelon before bed might not be as innocent as you think. The older we get, the more sensitive our brains become to imbalances, even just a little dehydration or blood pressure drop. And watermelon, when eaten at the wrong time, contributes to the silent storm in the brain. Mrs. Lillian has partially recovered. She uses a cane to walk and needs reminders when speaking. But what she said to me last is why I'm writing this. I thought I was doing something good. I didn't know that one bowl of watermelon could change my life. Food isn't to blame. The fault, if there is one, is the belief that healthy fruit can be eaten any time. That's why I'm sharing this, because I want you to keep enjoying food and living happily, but with awareness, not with vague hope. Have you ever heard this? Drinking a glass of juice every morning will help you live longer. You may have seen an image of an older person smiling, raising a glass of orange juice with the label 100% natural, no sugar added, heart healthy. And you believed it, believed that as long as it's natural, it's good, believed that no added sugar means it's safe, believed that you're gently caring for your health. But I'm here to tell you a different story. A story about Mr. Frank, 84 years old, a man who never skipped a breakfast in 12 years. Every morning, Mr. Frank ate a slice of whole wheat bread and drank a large glass of orange juice, no sugar, 100% pure. A regular, neat habit, seemingly perfect for old age. However, he came to see me with unexplained symptoms. Rapid heart rate in the morning, hot flashes on his face, dizziness, loss of balance, and worst of all, he couldn't remember what happened the day before. We checked. His blood pressure fluctuated widely in the morning. His blood vessels showed signs of inflammation, and the MRI results revealed signs of a small stroke he wasn't aware of. I asked a very simple question. "What's your usual breakfast?" He replied without hesitation. "A slice of bread, a glass of orange juice, pure, no sugar." And it was that glass of orange juice, seemingly healthy, that became the betrayer. Fruit juices, even the purest, contain a very high amount of natural sugar, mainly fructose. When you drink juice without the fiber, to slow the absorption, sugar rushes straight into your bloodstream, creating a shock. For younger people, the body can adjust. But for older adults especially, those taking statins, blood pressure medication, or diuretics, this shock can cause blood pressure to spike, then drop sharply, damaging the brain's blood vessels. In fact, when it comes to sugar levels, a glass of no-sugar juice can be worse than a can of soda. And the saddest part? Mr. Frank thought he was living healthily. He thought he was doing the right thing. But after 12 years of maintaining that habit, now he struggles to remember his grandchildren's names, can't stand for long, and often gets disoriented in his own house. I'm not telling you this to make you afraid of juice. I'm telling you to reconsider how you consume it. Fruit juice, if consumed correctly, can still be part of a healthy diet. But it needs to be drunk during the day, not on an empty stomach, in small amounts, 100 to 150 milli-dc, paired with a meal containing protein or fat, not consumed every day, continuously for years. If you want to benefit from fruits, eat the whole fruit, with skin, with fiber. Your brain doesn't need a sugar rush in the morning. It needs stable energy, something that comes slowly, steadily, and doesn't startle the blood vessels. Mr. Frank once said to me at his last follow-up, "I never thought a glass of orange juice could do this to me. I thought it was the best thing I was doing for myself." And all I could respond to him was with the gentlest truth. The danger isn't in the juice. The danger is that no one ever told you. After 60, the body doesn't process food the way it did at 40. So if you're drinking juice every morning, take a pause one day, drink a glass of warm water, eat a berry or half a grapefruit slowly, chew carefully, and listen to your body. It will thank you. By now you may be feeling a bit anxious. So, what should I eat? What's still good and what's not? I understand that feeling, especially when you're someone who always tries to do the right thing, but eventually realizes you've been making the wrong choices, simply because no one ever taught you how to eat for your age. I want to tell you one more story this time with a lighter ending. Mrs. Margaret, 73 years old, came to my clinic feeling tired, confused, and a bit disappointed. She said, "I've been doing everything right, taking vitamin D every day for my bones, taking niacin for cholesterol, eating fruits, drinking juice, avoiding fried foods. But I still feel dizzy every morning. My blood pressure fluctuates, and my mind is sometimes sharp, sometimes forgetful. What am I doing wrong, doctor?" I didn't answer immediately. We sat down, and together we looked at everything she was eating. Not to blame, but to understand. And I realized this. She was trying to do good too fast. Too much juice, too many multivitamins, too many superfoods. But missing one very important thing: stability and a steady rhythm in how she fooled her body. I suggested a very small change to Mrs. Margaret. Don't add anything new. Just replace her juice and cereal in the morning with a balanced light meal that's right for a body over 70. This is the breakfast I call calming for the brain. 1 boiled egg provides slow-releasing protein, helping stabilize blood sugar. 1.2 small avocado, a source of healthy fat, slows down sugar absorption, aids memory. 1 slice of whole grain bread releases energy slowly, doesn't spike blood pressure. A handful of fresh or frozen blueberries helps reduce brain blood vessel inflammation. 1 glass of warm water gently hydrates, doesn't shock the digestive system waking up. No superfoods. No magic powders, just things your body recognizes and processes easily. 2 weeks later, Mrs. Margaret came back with a smile. "I don't know what to say. I'm more awake, no longer dizzy when I stand up, and I start my day gently every morning." And most importantly, she felt in control of her body again, no longer feeling led by advertisements for foods good for the heart, good for the brain, good for everything. If you're asking yourself, what else can I eat? The answer is a lot, and they often don't come in bright packaging. Here are some brain-friendly suggestions, not overhyped, not expensive. Green leafy vegetables, spinach, kale rich in folate and antioxidants, fatty fish, salmon, sardines rich in omega-3, protect nerve cells, nuts and seeds, walnuts, flax seeds provide vitamin E and magnesium for memory. Whole grains, oats, quinoa help stabilize blood sugar, reduce pressure on brain blood vessels. Berries, blueberries, raspberries help reduce inflammation and improve brain circulation. The key isn't eating a miracle food. It's about gently combining them at the right time with the right body in mind. Mrs. Margaret still eats fruits but no longer drinks juice. She still loves watermelon, but eats it at lunch instead of before bed. She didn't need to eliminate anything, just needed to change the way she used it. You can do the same. You don't need to live in fear of food. You just need to check in with your body, listen to it, and make gradual adjustments. The right food doesn't just help you live longer. It helps you live clearly, live with memory, live with strength, live with choices. After everything you've just heard, I know you might be feeling a bit stunned. Have you ever silently thought to yourself, so, what I believed was good could actually be harmful? How many years have I been unaware of this? I want to gently say something to you. You're not wrong. You're not foolish. You're not careless. You're simply someone living a good life in a world that doesn't teach us how to age with awareness. We learn how to raise children, how to work, how to spend money. But no one ever taught us that. Old age is a new journey where things that used to be true might no longer apply. The body after 60 is no longer the body of a 40-year-old, even though you're still the same person. Living in the same house, the kidneys filter more slowly. The nervous system is more easily triggered. Blood vessels become more fragile, but without warning. And most importantly, the brain doesn't scream when danger comes. It whispers. Until one day, it goes silent. I've met so many people like you, kind, diligent, believing in healthy eating. They choose fruit over cakes. They choose juice over soda. They choose what seems to be a better habit. And then they wake up in a hospital room, unable to speak a complete sentence. They don't understand what happened. No accident, no big mistake. Just a series of small, repeated, mistaken beliefs, like a banana couldn't hurt, orange juice is healthy, fruit is always good to eat. The truth is, food isn't to blame. The fault, if there is one, is that we've failed to listen to how our bodies change over time. And now is the time to ask a new question. Not to blame, but to regain control. Is what I'm eating really suitable for my body now? What I'm doing every evening, does it help my brain rest, or is it adding a silent burden? You don't have to change everything overnight, but you can change how you view a glass of juice, a bowl of grapes, or a ripe banana. You can choose to eat them at a different time. You can choose to ask your doctor rather than guessing. You can start listening to your body the way you'd listen to a grandchild telling a story. Because at this age, you don't just need to live. You deserve to live clearly, have a good memory, be in control, have choices. And sometimes that power comes from making a very small choice. Not drinking juice every morning, not eating watermelon after 9 p.m., not believing in a 100% natural label without understanding the context. The scariest thing isn't disease. It's losing the ability to live mindfully while you still could have kept it just by being aware. I'm not here to make you afraid. I just want to whisper one thing to you. Your health is something no one cares about more than you do. And your body has quietly been giving you many signals. Now is the time to listen to them, not with your ears, but with understanding. So, if tomorrow you choose to replace that glass of juice with a warm glass of water, eat avocado instead of a ripe banana, or go to bed earlier instead of eating watermelon at 10 p.m., I'll smile because I know you're writing your own aging journey in a mindful, clear, and loving way.